This is going to be third class, and this is going to be terminology class, basically demo. You can consider it or you do not consider it, that should not be a problem. But third terminology class, we'll be having at Maths Like we'll be having one more terminology classes, and this is the third class. So basically where we have stopped till yesterday what we have discussed is we have discussed about these rules. Rule, why I am repeating these things over and over is because like whatever that we are going to discuss, everything is going to revolve around these things only. Okay, rule set version, rule set version, rule set stack, and application. These are five different concepts in Pega. Okay, but these are the five different basic terms in Pega. The next basic term that we have discussed is operator ID, access group, and application. These are the terms that we are going to see today. So basically, what do you mean by an operator ID? An operator ID is nothing but there will be different, every user, different types of users will be there for the Pega application. Namely, those two types of users are first one is developer, okay, whose job is to create, modify, delete, and connect the rules basing on the requirement. He is the first user type. So at Maths, in the other end user, basically for whom okay, so the other end is end user. Basically all the time, whatever being a developers or being a software employees, what we are doing, we are creating applications for the end users. Yeah, for example, if I have created a HDFC Bank application, the persons who are using HDFC net banking are my end users. Okay, I am a HDFC Pega developer. Basically, I'll not be saying that, but Pega developer. Okay, my job is to create an application, and that particular application client is HDFC. If you have a HDFC account, you are going to be the end user. So two different users. Okay, he is the person, basically end user is the person who is going to use for his either a business or his personal purpose or whatever it may be. Okay, these users, the unique ID using which users log into the system is called as operator ID. Okay, what do you mean by operator ID? The unique ID using which users log into system is called as operator ID. The unique ID using which users log into system is called as operator ID. Okay, just like how we are logging into Gmail by using Gmail ID, all the banking websites by using customer ID and password. Same way, every user ID will be having a user ID and also a default password that is going to be created by Pega, which can be changed at a later point of time. Okay, so operator ID is nothing but user ID. Okay, fine. So where he will be logging into? Where this particular operator ID will be logging into? Obviously, he should be logging into some kind of application. Okay, so there is an application. There is a application. Application is the place where different rule sets come together to make up a application. We are going to see all these things. So how we are going to make sure that, because like see, if I am a developer, I should be logging into a developer portal, developer view of a screen. Okay, if you are an end user, you should be logging only to the end user screen. You should not be logged in into developer portal. You should not be logged in into developer portal. Okay, where you can because like you don't know any Pega, because like if you are an end user, you don't know any Pega. So if you wrongly do some configuration, okay, that might result in some drastic drastic these things. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to make sure that okay, so what we have to do is like we have to make sure that we are maintaining two different spaces or two different environments for end user and the developer. So whatever view that we are logging, whatever view that a developer will be logging into to create all these rules is called as Designer Studio. Designer Studio. What is this Designer Studio? Designer Studio is the place where Designer Studio is the place where developer will be creating the rules. Okay, creating all the developer related actions. That means like create, modify, delete, and all those things. We'll be doing all developer related actions. Okay, so what is the end user portal is going to be? End user portal is called as case worker portal. Why this is called as case worker? We will see after some 7-8 classes, because like we have to discuss about a concept called as case. Okay, case worker portal. This is the place where end user will be okay creating scenarios, creating his scenarios. That means like for example, if you are doing a IMPS transaction, that is nothing but a scenario from beginning to ending. That is a single scenario. So like this, end user will be creating his own scenarios. So what we have to do, well, let's say I am a developer, so I should, whenever I log in, I should be showing Designer Studio. Whenever end user like you log in, we should be showing case worker portal. So who is going to take this particular responsibility? This is one responsibility that needs to be handled. And the second responsibility is, okay, there will be different types of applications. There will be different types of applications. Okay, a number of applications will be there within the HDFC Bank project only. So how we have to make sure that right person is logging into right application? So who is going to take care of that particular responsibility? Access group. Access group. What is this access group? Access group is nothing but is a security rule. Is a security rule which is going to make sure that right person or right user is having correct access. Correct access. Meaning when I say design, developer should be logging into Designer Studio. That is how it should be. So these are the three things that should be linked with. So now what we'll do is like we'll just simply, let me see if my server started. Yes, it started. So let me just simply start my server and show you how these three things are interconnected. Okay, there is a person who is whose name is not updated, waiting for name. Please make sure that you are updating names, because like we'll dismiss those people if you do not update your name. Okay, please update your names, because we don't want to give unauthorized access. Okay, so who is it? Someone is having in the your name as waiting for name. Who is it? Okay, so here if you see admin@gb11, this is the user ID or operator ID. Password is, default password is RULES. Default password is RULES. How to create these applications and all we will see. Okay, so now I have used developer ID. Now I have logged in into system by using developer ID. That is the reason I am seeing whatever view that you are seeing, this is called as Designer Studio. Okay, Designer Studio is the place where developer will be doing all the developer related actions. When I say developer related actions, I'm talking about all these things: creating, modifying, deleting, and connecting the rules. So Designer Studio is the place where developer will be creating all the rules. All the developer will be doing all the developer related actions. Developer will be doing all the developer related actions. So okay, using an operator ID, I have logged in into something. What is that something? An application. So where can I identify the application name into which I have logged in into? Your application name will be there in the heading ribbon, whatever that you are seeing in the heading part. Okay, there will be a small cube color icon. Okay, it depends on the browser. For some browsers it will show the name, or for some browsers it will show only the cube icon. Okay, so it depends on the browser, whatever that you are using. Normally in Chrome and Internet Explorer it will display the name. So here if you click on the cube, if you click on open application, then you will be able to see how your application is going to look. Okay, see, this is how the view of your application is going to be. So what we have discussed that an application is nothing but group of rule sets. First basic point that we have discussed about application is an application is nothing but group of rule sets. First we have to identify that. See here, application rule sets. Always concentrate on my mouse pointer. Okay, application rule sets. In the application rule sets, if you see rule set 1, whatever it may be, rule set 2, rule set 3, rule set 4. 4 different rule sets are connected in the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See here, our application is nothing but collection of rule sets. This is how it is. Okay, so how are you going to assure, how are you going to make, how are you going to confirm, saying that okay, the rule whatever that you are seeing is an application rule? In the heading before semicolon, whatever that is there, that is nothing but the rule type. There are n number of rule types that are going to be there. If you have seen our course curriculum, all of them are different concepts, or some of them are also rules. So n number of rule types are there. So this is one of the rule type, application. So in the heading before semicolon, whatever that is there, that is nothing but the rule type. Okay, and if you want to know the name of the rule, first thing is to identify which type of rule that you are seeing. Second thing is you have to identify what is the name of the rule. So what is the name of the rule? GB11. Okay, GB11 010101. GB11 010101. Okay, so this is nothing but your name of the rule. Whatever that is there in the ID, that is nothing but your name of the rule. That is nothing but your name of the rule. So this is the application. So we have logged in with an operator ID, where we can see the operator ID. If you click on the right hand corner, there will be something called as, with the operator ID, first letter of your operator ID will be there. If you click on operator, see, first you have to confirm which type of rule you are seeing. You are seeing operator ID. I am saying that you are seeing operator ID. How can you confirm it? In the heading before semicolon, whatever that is there, that is nothing but your operator ID. It says that we are seeing operator ID. So now this GB11010101 is our application, and this admin@GB11 is our operator ID. How these two things are interlinked? So here if you see under application access, what is application access? To which application this particular operator ID is having access? That is what will be present in this particular block. Okay, see here, what is this application? GB11010101. That is what we are seeing, right? That is the name of the application that we are seeing. So here if you see, there is something called as access group. How this particular application is coming to this particular operator ID? So in the operator ID, application name is specified, access group name is specified, and if you open this circle icon, whenever you use this circle icon, okay, if you click on that particular circle icon, it will open that particular rule. that particular rule. Okay, see here, access group. In the access group, application name is specified. So how it is going is, at any point of time, how it is going to go is, inside the operator ID, access group will be specified. Access group will be specified. Inside the access group, application name will be specified. So indirectly, what is happening when A is equal to B, B is equal to C, indirectly A is also equal to C. That is the meaning. So operator ID is mapped to application. Okay, so this is how the connection is going to be. So now let's just verify that. So I'll close all the things. We'll try to see whatever that we have discussed. So I'll just simply open our operator ID first. In the operator ID, see, access group is there. I'm opening the access group. If you open the access group, application name is there. If you open this particular application, okay, the same application rule, whatever that you have seen, by using this cube option, the same application should be shown. So for example, if you see GB11 010101, and these are the rule sets. This is how an operator ID is connected to an application at any point of time. Who is acting as a catalyst here? Access group is acting as a catalyst, or a intermediate connecting rule, or a bridge between operator ID and application. Okay, so what is the primary job of an access group? To map an operator ID to an application. That is the primary job of an access group. Okay, so this is how an operator ID is connected to an application. So now we have discussed that, saying that, okay, Designer Studio should be shown to developer, caseworker should be shown to end user. Who is going to take care of it? Again, access group is the one that is going to take care of it. How? If you see, where is the access group? From the operator ID, I am opening the access group. So here if you see, application is the primary functionality. Mapping an operator ID to an application is the primary functionality. But here if you see, there is something called as available portals. Whatever that you are seeing now, this is called as Designer Studio portal or developer portal. So here under the available portals, there is something called as portal names. These are all the different portal names to which this particular operator ID is having access. So by default here if you see, there are 5 radio button options. Whatever radio button that is defaulted, okay, that is the view that this particular operator ID is going to see whenever he is going to log in into system. So for example, for the same application only, okay, GB11 users only. So I'm just simply opening this particular access group. So here if you see, same application name, but he is having only caseworker portal. So the person who is mapped to this particular access group, see here, what is the name? GB11 users. What is the developer access group name? GB11 administrators. The person who is mapped to this particular user access group will be always seeing caseworker portal only. So how to know who all are the operator IDs that are mapped to a given access group at any point of time? You have to open the access group, and in the access group there will be a operators tab where you can see the list of operator IDs that are mapped to it. So here if you see user @GB11, so I'll just simply try to log in into that particular application or with that user ID. User what is it? GB11. Password is RULES. User @GB11 and password is rules. So I'll just simply log in. See here, he logged in into caseworker portal only. He did not, there is no sign of Designer Studio here. No matter how many times that he is going to log in, he is going to log in into Designer Studio only. Sorry, end user portal only, or caseworker portal only. So this is how Access Group is also making sure that, okay, right person is logging into right application. That is the primary responsibility. Right person is seeing the right view. Right person is seeing the right view. What are the views that we are talking about here? Developer view and end user view. Okay, right person is having the right access, right view to the application, and right person is having right access to the right view of your right application and right view. These are the two main things that are access group is going to handle. So now I am saying that, okay, now I am saying that, okay, developer can create, modify, delete the rules. These are the three main things that a developer can do. Okay, how we can make sure that developer is having that kind of access? In the access group only, at the bottom there is something called as available roles. Available roles. This role is nothing but in our companies there will be different types of roles. Okay, what is a junior resource will be doing? That means like fresher will be doing scrap work. A senior person giving work to that particular fresher. Manager giving work to this particular senior. So that is how basically basing on the role you will be having your work, your tasks basically. Okay, so here if you see GB11 administrators. So if you just simply open this particular roles, so a new role will be opened that is called as access role name. This access role name is the one that is going to control what a given person, what an operator ID that is mapped to this particular access group can do. One more time, access role name is the rule which is going to control what an operator ID which is mapped to this particular access group can do. Okay, so how? If you go to this particular one, search for @base class, because this will be there for any type of access role. So @base class, I just simply clicked on it. So here if you see privileges, it is saying that what type of access that we can give. Enter 0 or blank to prohibit all access. That means like when we enter 0 or blank, that means like that particular person will not be having access. Okay, if it is anything between 1 to 5, that kind of access will be there. Different types of rules will be there, security rules, database rules. So different rules will be having different levels of access. Since this is a personal edition, Pega personal edition, all the people will be having level 5 access. All the developers will be having level 5 access. But in the real time, some set of people will be having 3, some set of people will be having 4, some set of people will be having 5. Okay, so here if you see, what are these things? Basically, read instances, write instances, delete instances. What do you mean by an instance? Every transaction will have a unique ID, right? That particular unique ID is called as instance. Every transaction will have a unique ID, right? That particular unique ID is called as instance. So read rules. That means like whenever we are executing any scenario, what is the indirect meaning? Just a minute. Whenever we are executing any rule, whenever we are executing any scenarios, what is the indirect meaning? Indirect meaning is what is a scenario comprising of? Multiple rules which are connected in the background. Okay, so all those rules we are reading. That's all. When I'm saying that a scenario is getting executed means indirectly PRPC is reading all the rules. Okay, so read rules, write rules. Whenever we are creating or modifying rules, it is nothing but write rules, delete rules. So what level of access is there for this particular operator ID? 5, 5, 5. 5, 5, 5 means highest level of access. So now let's just verify the same thing for the end user, because like by just seeing developer, we can't say that, okay, he is having all the access and all. We have to see how the end user access group is also having. So now I will go to the end user access group. Okay, at the bottom there is something called as available roles. I'll open that particular available user role. So here if you see access role name, same rule. So you have to see access class, which class we have seen in the administrator, administrator of this one, @base class, right? So go and search for it. So @base class, it is there. Okay, if you just simply open this, see here again, there is a difference. For developer, all of them are having 555, but for the end user, only read rules is having as 5. Because what end user will be doing? He will be creating scenarios. Indirectly, what do you mean by creating scenarios? He is reading the rules unknowingly. Okay, from the front end, he is creating scenarios, but indirectly, what is happening? He is executing all the rules, means reading all the rules. Okay, so this is how access group is going, making sure that right person is having right access and right person is doing the right operations also. Okay, making sure that he is having the access to do the right operations. Because like there will be some scenarios, normally this won't happen, but normally there will be some scenarios where a developer will be coming into a project and he will say, I am not able to create rules or modify rules. Then what is the first thing that you have to check? You have to go to the access group to which he is mapped to, and you have to open the roles. What you have to see all the roles, whatever that are there, and you have to check whether the required role is there or not. Normally, the default role that should be there for every operator ID is this particular Pega rules sysadmin 4. Developer operator ID. I am saying for developer operator ID. Pega rules sysadmin 4. If this is not there, then that particular person will not be able to create, modify, or delete. Okay, now you may ask, what is this Pega rules sysadmin 4? It is nothing but a template which says that okay, the developer should be able to have these many things. So depending on the projects, LSS, what they will do is like they will do different customizations, saying that okay, all the people who are having an experience between 0 to 4 years, all those operator IDs should be having level 4 access. All the people who are having 5 to 8 years of experience, they should be having level 5 access. So like that, okay, they will customize. It depends on the application and it depends on the lead system architect. Okay. So this is how an operator ID. This is how an operator ID is mapped to an external application. Sorry, this is how an operator ID is mapped to an application via access group. Okay, so the primary job of access group is to map the application first, application to the user first, application to the user. But the other responsibilities that is handled by access group is making sure that right portals are displayed and right roles are displayed. Right portals are displayed and right roles are displayed. Okay, access group, and this is how it is going to be. This is how it is going to be. Okay, now are we clear with how an operator ID is connected to an end user? How an operator ID is connected to an application? Okay, via access group, and these are all the things that an access group is going to be doing. Okay, so that is all about the 3 rules that we have seen. That is all about the 3 rules that we are seeing. Okay, probably like I did not get an update saying that batch is finalized. By tomorrow they will give me an update. Tomorrow I will show you about the installation stuff also. Okay, day after tomorrow will not have class. I think like most of you know that it is a Pongal, so everybody will be traveling. I don't want to trouble you people. So day after tomorrow will not have class. Tomorrow is the last class where you can take a decision to enroll or not. Okay. So here if you see, this is how an operator ID is going to map it to an application by using access group and to an application. Okay, so this is how it is going to be. Are we clear with operator ID, access group and application? How they are interlinked and all? So there are good number of options which we are going to see. So in this records, almost all we will be touching all the types, at least some of the types. Some of the types which are going to comprise or which are going to be 80% of Pega developers day-to-day life. Okay, so in the application also, there is an interesting fact. I'll close everything. Okay, so we are seeing this application. Good, all good. We are seeing this particular GB11 application. But how this view is coming to our application? Who has created this particular view to our application? developers of Pegasystems, they are the people who are writing some background code, because like when I'm seeing this kind of view, that too in a web browser, that means like obviously there will be a HTML code for this one. Okay, if you want to see, just simply press F12. This is the HTML code for your view, whatever that you are seeing. So someone might have created this particular HTML code, right, to the view whatever that you are creating. Sorry, whatever that you are seeing. Okay, where is that code is present? Where is that code is present? That code is present in a default application called as Pega rules. That code is present in a default application called as Pega rules. If you open this particular Pega rules, see here, you will be having some good number of rule sets which are starting with Pega dash. Some good number of rule sets which are starting with the name Pega dash. All the rule sets which are starting with the name Pega dash are the rule sets where developers of the Pega systems is going to create the functionality, supporting functionality to the applications or to the view, whatever that we are seeing. Okay, so all these Pega dash rule sets are accessible only to the developers of Pega systems. Any other company employees should not modify it. If there is a need, you have to reach out to the Pega systems, then they will see the requirement whatever that you are seeing, and they will guide you accordingly, or they will do the modification. You are not supposed to modify it. So fine, Pega rules is the application that is created by Pega developers of Pega systems. But why our application should be connected, why our application should be built on top of that particular application? Because we need their support. We need the support of the code, whatever that they have written. So that is the reason, if you see, any application, whatever that is created by ourselves manually, is going to be defaultly built on top of Pega rules. So here, if you see, built on applications. What do you mean by built on applications? Okay, the application on top of which, the application which is having some supporting functionality which we need in our current application. Okay, that those kind of applications will be present in this particular built on applications. Okay, this UI kit is also developed by Pega systems only. This is the place where they are creating all the UI related functionality, supporting functionality. Because like when I'm saying that, I'm seeing an application, how it is making sure that only application rule sets is coming here all the time. Only developer branches is coming here all the time. Only built on applications is coming here all the times, because they have written the code, supporting code to it. So whenever we are executing, the supporting code is also should be there to our application all the times. That is the reason our default application, whatever that we are creating, okay, whatever application that we are creating will be built on top of Pega rules. There is a automation wizard, there is a automatic wizard where we are going to create an application. For our batch also I'll create. Normally this I have created for a different batch, but for our batch also I'm going to create in our next classes. Okay, so this is how built on application concept is going to be. What do you mean by built on application concept? What do you mean by built on application? Why we need to build one application on top of other application? Whenever we want to use the supporting functionality, whatever there in application A, in application B, what we have to do is like we have to build application B on top of A. Okay, whenever we install Pega software, automatically this Pega rules is going to be installed in our system. Installed in the sense it will be there in our Pega server. So whenever we create any new application, automatically it is going to be there. So if you delete this particular Pega rules, okay, that's all, your application is not going to work. Your application is not going to work. So never try to do that. Okay, it is just for information only. Never try to do that. Okay, this is how basically a built on application is going to make sure that, okay, our application is going to be having the enough support or required support to do all the developer related activities. Okay, so this is how it is going to be. And okay, that should be fine. That is all. And operator ID, application, and this one. Okay, one more important small tricky logic. So sometimes maybe like in the, because like currently everybody is using Scrum environments, or everybody is working on Scrum related projects. So what is happening because of the Scrum related projects, there will be scenario where one developer should be working on multiple projects. Okay, so when I say multiple projects, two different applications. So how an operator ID will be connected to two different applications? The very same concept whatever that we have discussed. In the operator ID, okay, see here, this is one application. I will add one more application. This is another application. Okay, but by default, whenever he logs in into system, he will be logging into this particular application only. So I'll just simply save this. Okay, so I will log off. See our application name, it is GB11. Okay, so I'll just simply log off and I'll log in. Admin@ GB11 and password is rules. Okay, now I have logged in into GB11. So now how I can switch to the other application, because like no matter how many times I'm going to log in, always I will be logging into GB11 only. So how can I switch to the other application? You just simply open it. There will be a switch application. You can switch to GB10. You don't need to log off and log in all the times. Okay, this application is going to have different, rule sets, different rules that are going to be created, and that particular application is going to be different application and different rules basically. Okay, so this is how Pega is providing us to have a flexibility of working on multiple applications. That is the point I'm trying to say. Okay, so now I will ask some things, that is like, what is the relation between operator ID to access group? Access group. What I am trying to ask here is, how many access groups can be specified in an operator ID? Obviously one too many, because like we have seen an example now, one too many. So the next question is, what is the relation between access group and application? Anyone? I'll show you the access group rule also. Okay, don't answer it now. Okay, I'll just simply open the access group. So here if you see, this is the application. So do we have a privilege, or do we have a option where we can add multiple applications? No, right? So the relation between access group and application is 1:1. 1:1. Now the question is, how operator ID is linked with application? Okay, so what is the answer? Take it as a homework and come back to me tomorrow. You see the entire video and come back to me tomorrow as that as a homework. Okay, so if anybody already got the logic, you can say, no problem. In the chat box, you can ping it, no problem. Okay, so that is all for the day. Normally, initially, until you get the familiarity, until you are, you get the familiarity with the Pega terms and all, I'll be taking, only 40 minutes close, because like if I take too much, nothing will go into head. It's a kind of, stack overflow. Things will not go into your head. So we have discussed everything, right? See this video completely one more time and try to get me the answer for the third option. Okay, how an operator ID is connected to an access group and how an access group is connected to an application. You try to see the video, keep this question in mind and see the video. Then the purpose of today's class will be satisfied. Okay, try to get an answer for this one. Okay, so that is all for the day. And any questions? Okay, normally these people, they will be sharing the recording on the next day, or if because like this is going to be evening class, so they will be sharing it on the next day morning. So please try to find a time or your travel time or somewhere and try to see it. Okay, so any questions? Because like I am done with for today. Good. Then, okay, I'll take your silence as no. So, thank you, and we'll catch up tomorrow evening at the same time at 9 o'clock. Okay, thank you.